Okay. So let's say we did the first round, get the second round. We've added round key. We're left with this value here. The first thing you do is essentially do SubBytes. SubBytes is pretty straightforward. For SubBytes, we take A4 and we look at the substitution table. We look A4 and we're left with 49, so we'll replace it with 49. Let me switch pens. 5B, we look 5B, 39. EA goes to 87 by way of EA 87. Okay? So that's how you do SubBytes. Now after SubBytes, we're going to ShiftRows. So for ShiftRows, we're just gonna literally shift the row. For the first one, we do nothing. First row, do nothing. Second row, shift by 1. Circular shift by 1 to the left. Circular shift by 1 to the right. Sorry, the left again, but it circles back. And the third one is shift by 3. And again, it shifts circularly. Okay? That one's pretty straightforward too. This next one, not so much. So we got this SubBytes, got ShiftRows, got to work on MixColumns. So for the value 39, we go with this column multiplied by this row. It's in this column and it's in the second row. And this stays the same. This matrix, this multiplication matrix always looks like this. So if we have D2, we're in the third column, so we're going to use this. And third row, so we're going to use this value here. So how do we set up this multiplication? Let's assume we're doing 39, okay? So if we have 39, we're looking for the value 4b. How do we get 4b from 39? We take this column, 45, 39, 53, 89. Okay. Now it's in this row 2, so we're using 1, 2, 3, 0, 1. So 1 multiply 2, 3, 1. So that's what you get. 1 times 45 is 45. 2 times 39 is 2 times 39. 2 times 39 gives us 72. Okay. 3 times 53. So let's do 2 times 53 gives us 2 times 53 is equal to A6. There's no carry. There's no overflow. So it's A6. And then we XOR with we XOR with 53 again. And we're left with the value F5. And then 1 times 89 is just 89. We XOR these values together now. 45 XORed with 72, XORed with F5, XORed with 89 gives us 4B, which is the 4B here. Let's try another one. Let's try D2. Okay, D2 is in this column, so it's 7F, 02, D2, F1. So we have this column. It's the third column, and D2 is in the third row, so we're going to use 1, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 1, 2, 3. So we're left with 7F XORed with 0, 2, XORed with, let's do the 2 times D2, gives us 1A4. There's an overflow. So 1A4 we need to XOR with 1B. Gives us BF equals 1BF. Drop the 1, we're left with BF. We're going to XOR with 3 times F1. So for 3 times F1, I'm going to break it out into 2 times F1. Oops, 2 times F1 is 1E2. There's a 1, so we're going to XOR with 1B, and then we're going to have to do another F1, so XOR with F1. So XOR with 1B, XOR with F1 gives us 108. Drop the 1, leaves us 8. Now we XOR these values together. 7F XOR 2 XOR BF XORed with 0, 8 gives us the value CA. D2 becomes CA. Okay. Okay, so the only tricky part is this. That when you have, there's 1, 2, or 3, right? If it's a 1, you just leave it alone. 1 times something is itself. 2 times something. When there's an overflow for the 2 times something, like a 1AF or something, that indicates that you take this value and you have to XOR it with 1B and then drop the third value over. If you have a 3 as a multiplier, what you do is you do 2 times the value. So if we were doing 2 times, if we had 2 times 6B, let's say 2 times 6B, 3 times 6B, we would do 2 times 6B. 6B times 2 gives us D6. And then we do, since there's no overflow in this case, there's no MSB here, we would do it XOR with 1B again. Sorry, not 1B. 6B. Okay, for the third multiply. If it was something like 2 times some value and it gave you a number like 1AC or something, what you'd have to do, let's say this existing value over here, you'd do 1AC XORed with that existing value XORed with 1B as well, because there's an overflow. Every time you see an overflow, you do an XOR with 1B. If you're doing a multiply by 3, you multiply by 2 first, and if there's an overflow, you will XOR with 1B, and you'll also, after doing that, XOR with the term again. Probably a little confusing. Let me go over it again. Let's say we're doing 3 times 6B. Okay, if we're doing 3 times 6B, we would do 2 times 6B, and we'd get D6. D6 has no overflow. It's not like it's 1D6. So if it's just D6, then we do we have to multiply by 3, so we'll XOR it with 6B again. Okay, and D6 XOR 6B would be your final, the thing you put into that spot. Let's say, for instance, though, that 2 times 6B equals 1D6. It doesn't, but 1D6, well, you'd still XOR with 6B, and because there's a 1 here, you'd XOR with 1B again. Okay, so let's go back to this table here. From the ShiftRows to MixColumns stage, you do, essentially, if we're looking at 77, we want to find the replacement for 77. We're in the first row, last column. Use the last column. So it would be what? Last column is 77, DE, 96, and 1A. But 77 is in the first row. So first row is 2, 3, 1, 1. That's times 2 times 3 times 1 times 1 equals. That's 96. That's 1A. 77 times 2 gives us EE. Don't have to do anything. There's no overflow. So DE. For the DE case, I'm going to multiply by 2 first. Oops. Gives us 1BC, means we have to XOR with 1B. And we're going to XOR with DE again because that's a multiply by 3. So 1BC XORed with 1B XORed with DE gives us 179. Drop the 1, we get 79. Now we XOR these values. EE XORed with 79 XORed with 96 XORed with 1A gives us 1B. And the value is indeed 1B over here. All right.